Okay, hello everybody. So we will do it like as usual today, at least for the beginning. And then once we have like gone through all of the questions, I will show how the process of creating a release works. And then we create the release live, essentially. That's the goal. But before there are any questions, it will be 707 and not 71, because for 71 we need like more work, especially for documentation and things like that.
I'm going to merge my pull request then. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Do you want to do it now? Or
Yep, I'm clicking the merge button.
yeah, it's so that well, the regression tests then take like a little bit long, but they should pass, I guess. Okay. Yeah, but first we can do like as usual. Whatever questions there are. I mean, not just questions, but also concerns or remarks or whatever.
If there's nothing else, I'd like to know your opinion on what I proposed to you and Tom of finished pull requests that don't have any comments for 2 months should be merged.
Yeah. I mean, we have no other option essentially. I mean, if no one complains, if no one says anything, then it means usually that people agree, like somehow, right? Otherwise, people complain. So
I don't know. Yeah, as it is, the current system, silence effectively means disapproval. Or I don't know, not voting.
yeah, I don't know exactly what it means actually. I mean, but it is a problem, yeah. And
well, my opinion on this is that a reviewed pull request should not be just merged in. I know this is a problem of people who want to do this, but just merging in pull requests which are not reviewed is not a good idea in my opinion, because that will backfire on you in the long term.
Well,
yeah,
what do you propose instead? Because the situation we have.
Yeah, that's a very difficult one. I agree with you, because if I look at my personal situation, I simply don't have time to do it, and I assume that's also true for other ones. But just merging in because it is not reviewed is not good, because then you can put in anything, and at the end of the day.
Not reviewed after 2 months. I did
Yes,
specify
I know,
2 months.
but you also know that a lot of people, it's always the same people who do the reviews, and they cannot do everything. So, and if you have not don't have the time to do it, then I don't know. I agree with you. It's difficult, but just merging it in because after a certain time, because it's not properly reviewed, or then I think that will not. It will hurt you in the long term.
Yeah, we shouldn't make that the default, I think. I mean,
so my calculations were if you take 16 hours a day for 2 months, that's 1,000 hours. If no one has half an hour or 1 hour to write some comments on a pull request, or to just say this is a good idea, or this goes against what the code, what the project represents, or whatever. 1 hour in 1,000 hours is 0.1% of the time. If no one is that busy, is what I mean.
Well, that is then you assume that you know the ins and outs of the code, and not everybody does. There are only a very few people that know all parts of the code well.
Yeah, but they even then people can still say this looks like a good idea, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. Well,
I mean, we told you that like in one meeting, right? So, I mean, yeah, I think that's okay.
because one of the ways to get to know the code beyond what is your normal use of the code is to look at what other people are doing, right? So looking at
I agree on that, but that requires some investment in time, and people prefer apparently to do something else. And unless you're gonna make it obliged, you say, all right, if you want to merge something in, you should do a pull request as well. If you are, that's also a possibility, right? But that's not an easy one to maintain.
Exactly. That was my kind of like first proposal on when we were in Italy, of creating some token system or whatever, and to kind of incentivize people to give back to the community in a way. It's difficult to implement. It's not something that GitHub can do automatically, keep score of people. So
yeah, I tried to find such a system, but there isn't any.
I think the best solution is to have some kind of system between ourselves that defends the people that are willing to put time into the code.
Yeah, but how? Yeah,
I just told you after 2 months, and I understand this is a personal problem. This is my problem. This is a problem I have with SU2, because most other people don't have it, because I will usually go and I'll write reviews and do whatever. So I would like, if my pull requests don't get any comments, or no one cares to say anything about them, they just go in. And it's not like I show up with unannounced features, because usually I open an issue, I say, I'd like to change this, I'm going to work on this, and then I do that work. And yeah, I don't know, it's a solution that it's not hard to implement. And
but the issue is that we're all here with volunteers working on this in that respect, and that is
exactly
that's an issue. And if you would be paid to do so, then then we have a completely different situation. And on the other hand, but if you, because you can work on this, there's a lot of things you can benefit from. So making it obliged to do something, to invest something in a pull request, it would be an option, but as you said, it's difficult to maintain.
Yeah, unless we really have like an automatic system, it's like the overhead would be too big, I think.
Yeah, but is there such a test system, Tim? That's what you just said.
So
yeah.
when we discussed that in Italy, I had a look, but I haven't found any solution for that. Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked recently, so maybe there is something new. But as far as I know, there's not. I mean, some of the projects have some custom solutions, I think. But yeah, that also requires like a lot of work. I mean, or we find someone who is actively managing that. I mean, that would be the other way, right? But
yeah, but it's you want to do something else as well besides that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to be like the policeman or the taxman that keeps
it would be some sort of that.
So it's either the system is automatically or relying on people to do that is it's unfair. But I think we need some safeguard to make sure that contributions that come to the code do not go ignored. That's simply the word. It's not a matter of approval or disapproval. It's things that are just.
I of course I agree on that as well, because that also dismotivate people. But on the other hand, as I said, if it's not reviewed and something garbage comes in, that's also not what you want.
Yes, but it needs to be there for 2 months.
I know, but I look. Yeah, I know it's a difficult one, Pedro. Don't get me wrong with that, but I'm just fear that it will not be good for quality.
Well, we can try it and see what happens.
Yeah, well.
It's also, I tell you what else is not good for quality. It's not getting fixes into the code or not getting changes into the code that improve the quality. That's also...
yes, of course, that's the case. But but the door swings always both ways, right?
Well, not all doors. That's only saloon doors from Western. Those do swing both ways. Yes.
Yeah, but you get what I mean.
It's really a complicated one.
I'm not saying I'm against it, but I'm just putting my concern there that there is a downside.
There is a potential downside if no one says anything. Yes.
Yeah.
But so long as someone goes there and you open it up, you look at it, and if you request changes, then you request changes, and that's it. It no longer goes into the code by default. It's not like you go there and you say, "Oh, I don't like the name of this function." Yeah, there, job done.
Yeah, but that's a bit too short. Look, if you want to do a proper review, then you should have a serious look at things, right?
Yes, but if your concern is garbage doesn't need a proper review. And so we never had. Can you remember of? I've been here for less time than you have, but can you remember a garbage pull request?
No, that's true. But there may be there are always some things that you say, all right, that could have been better. But okay, yes, we're working on an open source developer's code, and yeah, maybe we just have to accept that. I don't know, but what I fear is that at the end of the day, it becomes so big and that it becomes unmanageable, and that you don't see it anymore. That you come basically too many options, because what you see, and that's very logical, is that a PhD student works on it and does his thing or her thing, and doesn't care too much about the rest, and then just submits it, and that's. And you have too many of those, then it becomes an issue.
Okay, if we start having too many of those, we revise the system. It's ultimately this strategy will still require the input of someone else, right? Someone else will have to go there after the 2 months and say, okay, no one said anything about this. Approve. So there's still it's still safeguarded against bad code or whatever. Just making it into the code, into the project by accident.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't make it a general rule, I think. I mean, we can have some exceptions, of course. I mean, if it's 2 months, then at some point. I mean, we talked about that. We discussed that. You were asking. So I think it's okay, right? But we shouldn't make it a general rule. That's like, yeah, that's just my thought.
Yeah, but what do you let go and what don't you let go? That's of course also then it's difficult. It's,
yeah, of course, it's difficult. That's true. Yeah. But for example, if we know the people, if they ask and we discuss that, then I think it's fine, right? I mean, if this would be like a pull request from someone that we have not heard of yet, then it would be something else, I think. So it also depends on
the person.
Who created that pull request. So I mean, right now there are very few people, so it's okay to discuss that.
Yeah, but also just I don't know. Well, maybe. Well, maybe that's. Maybe should also the people that do work on it. Maybe we should make it more obliged to do reviews.
Yeah. I mean, if someone has a great idea on how we can do that, how we can incentivize.
That's difficult. That's the
Yeah, I mean, other than stalking people online, or going to Slack and going like, oh, do you want to do a code review? I did one for you like a couple of weeks ago, and
I mean, maybe you have to directly approach the people or something like that. I don't know. So okay, I give you a review, then you can give me a review. I don't know.
Yeah, and the person is gonna say, "Well, I didn't ask you for one. You gave it because you wanted." So
okay, then in the end, nobody's doing like a pull request anymore because they all wait for
because you have to do a review. Yeah, that's not a good situation either. Yeah, but okay.
And then okay, I'm not going to open a pull request because I didn't review enough code, and I don't feel like doing reviews. So it's also not a. What I want is some system that gives the incentive of people to review code, but still the incentive of people to open a pull request openly, and know that it's going to be looked at.
Yeah. So then you wait a bit and you make a very big pull request, only one.
Yeah, which is even worse, right?
Yeah.
Because a big pull request, it's never going to be properly reviewed.
No, that's true.
if you see a big chunk of code and you are reviewing it, at least I do. At some point, I start feeling self-conscious if I start leaving too many comments, right? So,
yeah.
So what we want is some system that allows people to open their pull requests as often as they feel they should open pull requests, and only reviewing what they feel comfortable reviewing, but at the same time, kind of making the default behavior of not to ignore what goes on.
Yeah, I agree with all of that.
And I think I think the way to do that is for the default to be, silence means acceptance. Shouldn't be in real life, but in maybe in software life could be silence means acceptance.
Yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't make it a general rule though. But I don't have a proper solution. It's like
I think nobody does, but
nobody does. Yeah.
Well, I have one that we can try.
I mean, so you would propose to make it like a general rule?
Yes, a general rule of the sort. People come to a meeting and say, "Hey, I've had some pull requests open for 2 months. What gives? Do you guys have anything against it, or?"
Yeah, this is what I mean, right? I mean, I wouldn't make a general rule. If we talk about it, then it's fine, I think. That's what I mean, right?
Okay, let's go with that.
Like you did, right? You come here, you ask, and then we already discussed that before, I think, and we talked before about your pull request. We even went through the changes together, right? Or some of the changes. I mean, in that case, it's totally fine, right? This is what I mean, right? But I wouldn't make a general rule that everybody says, okay, if there's no review to 2 months, then I can just merge my things in. That I wouldn't do. If they come here and show their changes and stuff like that, and then I think it would be fine.
I agree on that.
Still, of course, an official pull request would be the best, also for like other people to see. But I think that's also some kind of like review here. So.
Okay, let's go with that then. Something that's presented to the community here, and it's briefly discussed or presented, and yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, at least then you don't have the concern or whether that is okay for the code, and everybody agrees that we should have that feature. So I think that's totally fine. Yeah, if we do it like that.
Good. So have the tests passed yet on develop?
Yeah, the problem is it's not compiling with Mac. So that somehow defeats my plan now.
You can still show the stats.
Yeah, I mean, I can also, I could, but I thought it would be much nicer if it would be live.
macOS.
I mean, I would be able to do, I mean, I can also do it next week, but I mean, then we have to postpone it again, but okay.
Well, you can still show us the steps, and I'll fix these issues. I don't know how, but I'll fix these issues.
Yeah, but it's kind of meaningless to just show the steps because it's not that difficult actually. Now let me just postpone it to next week. I think that's better. If everybody's fine with that.
Well, it's just that we haven't had the release in a long time.
1 week more or less. Yeah, at some point we should also properly discuss 7.1 because, like I said, we need some. Yeah, I hate to say
what? Sorry?
some 7.1.
7.1. Yeah.
Yeah, version 7.1, right? I mean, I hate to say it, but we might need some volunteers because we have to update some documentation and things like that.
And you think we need what? Next year or?
No. The plan would be to do it still this year. Maybe end of the year would be a good time.
Yeah, Christmas special.
Yeah, but like I said, we need some people like going over the documentation and things like that. But I fear it will be hard to find some people doing that.
What documentation has changed? I'm gonna do some updates now that I merged this stuff.
Well, we have to make sure that all of the tutorials still work, that they are up to date. So these kind of things.
Okay. I don't
I mean,
think
it's
we
not
have
a lot
any new.
of work, right? Because, like you said, not much has changed, I think, but at least we have to go over it.
We don't have any. We don't have any new options, I think. And I've been a little bit nitpicky with backwards compatibility lately. So I think.
Yeah. Well, the Nemo is a new option, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not. It will not break previous tutorials.
Yeah, that's true. But
they might want to add some tutorial for that if
yeah.
that's ready. So that would be nice.
Yeah.
So it requires some organization and some things. So that's the thing. Yeah. Maybe I'm just gonna ask people directly at some point. It's probably better.
What's the Mac compiler that the release management uses?
It uses the LLVM, so LLVM compiler.
Is that the same as Clang?
Yeah.
Oh, I did compile the code with Clang.
Yeah, but it uses also the standard library from Apple.
Yeah, it's Apple specific. Tim, I was a little bit late. What's the problem with that?
So we just merged Pedro's things, and there's it doesn't compile with Mac.
Got it. I mean, I'm on Mac. I can give it a look.
It's fine. It's just some.
Probably need some kind of macro.
It's just some keywords that C++ people said you should put on your code. And what version have I tried? Yeah, I did try Clang 6.
Yeah, it might be just the standard library that is different. I mean, I can also have a look at it. 1 second. What does it say? Okay, maybe, yeah, it's not recognizing some of the keywords, right?
No, it recognizes, but it says it's not compatible with something else.
It's a strange error message. I've never seen that one.
Exception specification of explicitly defaulted move constructor does not match the calculated one.
Yeah, now explain it to me. Yeah, the problem is it's really hard to test that unless you own a Mac. Well, no, actually, it's not that hard because you can just use the Docker container actually to compile it. I don't know if you have done that before, but
No.
there's under the documentations, there is like a container under the developer docs. There's a section for containers for development. And there it's explained how to do that, in case you want to try it on your own. I mean, it's essentially cross compilation, right? So it's,
Yeah.
I mean, just try it, and if it's not working, then I can help you in figuring that out. The problem is that you can. I'm just thinking whether you can trigger the action explicitly without pushing to the develop branch. Yeah, you could change the branch. I mean, if you go to the workflow, the release management workflow, if you just add your branch to the list of branches there, then it will run also for that branch.
So that is...
You know what I mean, right?
I know there's one of the event folders, so that's .github, right?
Yeah, exactly. .github, workflows, and then there's release management.
Okay, and so the very first lines on push, do branches, whatever. And I can add a specific branch here to... Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, expect a lot of spam then.
Yeah, or like I said, you can use a Docker container. I mean, you see essentially the options there for the Docker container. Yeah, so the flags are simply what is passed to the Docker container, essentially. So you could also do that locally if you want. Yeah, but just try it and let me know if it worked or not. I mean, at some point I will probably see whether it works or not.
Yeah, I'll let you know once it's fixed. Well, the easy fix is to delete no except from everywhere. I'm pretty sure that would fix the issue.
Okay, yeah, whatever you might think would work.
Okay, so after hijacking this entire thing and spoiling your plans, if anyone has any other questions.
Yeah, we still have some time.
Hi all, Arturo here.
Hey.
I have one quick question. I'm running I have this transitional model that is giving inlets or free stream values, but they are not like functions of velocity or anything. It's like given values and they're dimensional. So then I attempt to run my simulation as a dimensional simulation, but then I see that the solver, for instance, the SST solver, uses, regardless I'm doing a dimensional simulation, uses non-dimensional viscosity, for instance, or velocity to compute the free stream values. And I'm a bit confused with this because, for instance, as I said in the model that I'm implementing, the inlet conditions are given and are dimensional. However, the viscosity that I'm using through all the solver is a non-dimensional viscosity, and I'm not sure why is this if I'm running a dimensional case. Does this make sense?
So what solvers were you talking about? Can you just
Like, for
repeat that?
instance, SST, when creating the class variable, we give the free stream values to that variable class. So, for instance, the turbulent kinetic energy at infinity, omega at infinity. But for instance, omega, if I don't remember, I don't have it here, it's computed with the viscosity ratio and the laminar viscosity in the denominator. And for instance, that laminar viscosity, it's taken as a non-dimensional viscosity, regardless I'm running a dimensional or non-dimensional simulation. So for instance, the turbulence solvers always, when computing the free stream values for the variable, are using the non-dimensional quantities in the constructor of the class.
Okay. That's a good point.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if this is meant to be like this or if I need to somehow start like exploring this area and change this, or I'm not sure if there's a reason why this is this way.
Maybe there is, but I'm not that sure.
I also dive into Blasek and stuff like that to see if there's like a specific reason why we would like to do non-dimensional turbulence models regardless dimensional simulation, but I didn't find anything yet. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know. Here's an idea.
What file is this in? I
Uh,
was a bit distracted, but is
in the class turf SST solver, for instance, or for SA as well, when computing the free stream values, when creating the variable class in the constructor of the class of the solver, over there, when we're computing the free stream values, they use the non-dimensional values, regardless of the type of simulation we're running. And in my specific case, I'm using not the standard definitions for the turbulent kinetic energy, for instance. I'm using different definitions or given values, and that's causing me a little bit of noise because that viscosity that is given there, it's a non-dimensional one in SST, for instance, and that viscosity is used through all the simulation afterwards.
So you mean where it says get viscosity, free stream, and D?
Non-dimensional, yeah. For instance, that one. So regardless I'm running a dimensional or dimensionless simulation, it's always going to get a non-dimensional viscosity. And I don't understand if there's a reason why this happens.
So find implementation. I'm under the impression that we always used these things. I don't think this is the non-dimensionalization factor. This is the free stream viscosity after it is non-dimensionalized.
That's right. Yeah. It may or may not be non-dimensionalized. Did you check against? We always try to go against the NASA turbulence modeling resource page. So if you go there and check SST, does everything seem reasonable? I think part of that is just the definition of eddy viscosity. I think you need to divide by density at some point, and or maybe some of these other quantities to compute it.
Yeah, I went through it, but also like later, like not just in the constructor of the class, like later in the code, this viscosity appears back again. So for instance, I'm inputting a viscosity of 2.2 10 to the minus 5, and then when I check my viscosity somewhere else when computing, I don't know, source terms and stuff like that, I get that non-dimensional viscosity around instead of the actual one that I input as viscosity, as molecular viscosity. So I'm just so confused. As you said, Tom, the definitions for the free stream conditions are kind of standard ones and are given in the turbulence modeling resource. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious about this non-dimensional viscosity.
This viscosity free stream ND is not the reference viscosity. It's the free stream divided by the reference viscosity.
That's right. And the reference, I think, is just computed with rho UL, right? Reference. The reference viscosity is just computed with rho UL reference, all of them, I think.
See, he has some connection problems.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You're back. Yes, I think so.
I guess the idea is that you always use the kind of like the correct value, regardless of whether you're running the code dimensional or dimensionless.
Okay.
That's why you always see, also for other kind of free stream or reference stuff, you always see the ND values being used.
Okay.
So what do you need? You need to compute the reference viscosity in a different way, or?
Yeah, that's kind of my question. I just found this week, this Monday. I started working on this, and yeah, I'm just wondering, yeah, if I need to redefine something else for my own code. But first, I want to know how this non-dimensional viscosity was kind of popping into the code. But yeah,
I mean, just to be clear, I mean, if you, even though you call the ND function, it should return the dimensional one, and that's not the case for you, right?
Yeah, I think it's not.
That should be the case, I think.
Yeah. Do you have far fields in your problem, or do you have maybe an internal flow problem?
I have far fields. Yeah, it's an external flow.
Okay, so you should have. These quantities should all be there. Makes sense.
Because if it's wrong there, then it's also wrong in the flow solver, right? Because we use the same function there.
Yeah, we use that function in a lot of places.
I mean, you should check whether the reference value is really 1, which should be the case.
Okay.
If it's dimensional.
Yeah, if it's dimensional, it should be 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then the ref viscosity is going to be 1 because rho UL is going to be 1 when we do dimensional. And then if we divide the free stream viscosity over that reference viscosity is going to be over 1. Yeah, so it should give the exact one. The same free stream.
Yeah. Maybe check that first, whether that's really the case.
Yeah, let me also do it right now. Let me type it out. Let me check that.
I mean, it should also print that at the beginning, I think. I'm not sure whether it's in the summary in the beginning. The viscosity. But it should be, I think. Okay, while we wait, someone has some other thing.
You know, I have one more comment about that, Tim. I mean, one thing that's always bothered me a little bit about the way we initialize these things anyway is that we pretty much always assume we have an external flow. So this is tangential to what he's saying. But if somebody had an internal flow and you want to control the setup of the turbulence variables, I mean, it doesn't really make sense to use free stream quantities. And sometimes you have to hack it in to do what you want for inlets, for instance, with SST. But that's a bigger issue because it would be nice if we could specify actual quantities for different boundary conditions like inlets. Like we could specify the turbulence variables rather than relying on a free stream definition to set it up. So that's a bigger issue. Something we've just never addressed.
Yeah. I came back and yes, I'm getting this non-dimensional one regardless. I'm doing a dimensional simulation. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to know if someone kind of had this problem before. If not, I'll be happy just to keep on exploring this and bringing some ideas, some updates for next meeting. We can.
Yeah, maybe you could also open an issue.
Yes. Okay. Okay, let me first make some couple of tests and then make sure that what I'm reporting is it's actually an issue, and then if so, I'll be happy just to submit that and further discuss this next week probably.
Yeah, sounds very good.
Great, thank you, Tom, Pedro, and Tim.
Okay, anything else? If not, then let's finish here. And then finally next week we have the release.
Maybe, if I fix the problem.
Yeah, I'm very confident that you will fix the problem.
Yeah, but people might not review it, We might have to wait 2 months.
That will get like high priority. We are not merging anything else before.
All right, see you guys next week then.
Okay.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks guys.
Bye-bye.